Hello! I'm glad to see you on my channel. And to my surprise, I made a short vertical video with this cable, braid. I thought you all already knew how they are made. That I don't knit these cables with knitting needles, by no means. That I crochet them simply with this hook, continuously, seamlessly, without sewing them to the fabric later. That I crochet everything with one yarn, as a single piece of fabric. And I thought everyone knew this, but I got so many comments saying that you need a tutorial for these cables. Of course I filmed it. But actually, why am I so surprised by this? It's because I released this video quite a while ago, but it came out on my first channel. There I make this cable in 2 colors, exactly the same way, from 2 strands, and that video was absolutely ignored by YouTube. Although the topic, as I see from the feedback, is very interesting, and people are very interested to see how it's done. And I'm very interested too. I didn't copy it from anywhere. I developed it myself. Maybe someone crocheted it before me, someone will crochet it after me, but I consider this my design, and therefore I have a big request for you. Immediately leave a like and a comment on this video, so that the YouTube algorithm doesn't ignore it. And if you like such crochet magic tricks, then of course, if it's not too much trouble, please go to my original first video, and there too, leave a like, write some kind of comment. There I crochet this cable in 2 colors, and you can catch, so to speak, this technique for your crochet toolbox, that such a cable can be crocheted in 2 colors, and used somewhere too. Well, let's start crocheting. Let's start crocheting this cable using the swatch, 100% crochet. You need to chain a multiple of 12 stitches plus 6 stitches. Right now, I have 54 stitches chained here from edge to edge, and then I crocheted 2 rows of yarn over slip stitches. Someone will definitely ask how to make the foundation rows here. 2 rows of yarn over slip stitches. You can make any stitches you like. Here, after the previous cable, there are also 2 rows of yarn over slip stitches. You can see it here. And I immediately move on to crocheting the next cable. The first strand. So the next cable, the first strand, I chain 1 to turn and turn the work. And here is the first row of the first strand. If I insert the hook into the row below, I will insert it not into the back loop, not like this. I will insert it under the 2 front loops because I'm making a raised ridge here. You can insert it in the back loop too. In general, do as you like. But specifically in this explanation, I will insert it under the 2 front loops. It's not a crucial point. The pattern will just change slightly because of this. So yarn over on the hook, insert the hook under the 2 front loops, like this. Grab the working yarn, make a yarn over slip stitch. 1. Into the next stitch. 2. Into the next stitch. 3. Into the next stitch. 4. 5. And 6. So I made the first 6 yarn over slip stitches under the 2 front loops. And then the repeat begins. This is the repeat in this pattern. Chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Along the bottom, I skip exactly 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yarn over, insert the hook into the 7th stitch. Exactly the same way, under the 2 front loops. Here I inserted it, grab the working yarn, and make a yarn over slip stitch. 1. Yarn over again, into the next stitch. 2nd yarn over slip stitch. 2. Yarn over. 3rd yarn over slip stitch. 4th. 5th. And 6th. And that ends the repeat. Then I repeat it over and over. Chain 10. Along the bottom, they will correspond to skipping only 6 stitches. And then 6 yarn over slip stitches along this row. Here I'm working under the 2 front loops. You do as you please, as your soul and your pattern demands. Again, an arch. Chain 10. Along the bottom, they will correspond to skipping only 6 stitches. And here, 6 stitches, yarn over slip stitches. We work like this to the end of the row. At the end of the row, we will just have an arch and 6 yarn over slip stitches. So I'm coming to the end of the row. I have 2 yarn over slip stitches left here. exactly the same way I crochet under the 2 front loops. This is the 5th, and here is the last 6th. And with that, the first row of the first cable is ready. Chain 1 to turn the work. Here it is. Look, it consists of arches. Arches that are anchored by 6 stitches. So chain 1 to turn. I am starting to crochet the second row of the first cable. It's very simple. Yarn over, insert the hook into the second chain from the hook, and into every stitch of the previous row. Here I crochet in the back loop only. I make a yarn over slip stitch. When I get to the chains, I will also continue to crochet in the back loop only. There will be no changes to the pattern here. Here they are, the back loops of the chains, and in the exact same way, we continue crocheting in the back loops. I work like this until the end of the row. On the right side of this kind of crocheting, there remains this kind of, look, a little braid that perfectly imitates knitting with needles. So I finish the second row of the first strand. I chain 1 to turn the work. Look how it all looks from the right side. And as you can see, each strand here consists of 2, cables. Here is 1 cable already. So next, we crochet the 3rd and 4th row again with yarn over slip stitches. 1 yarn over slip stitch into each stitch. So the 3rd row, yarn over, insert the hook into the second chain from the hook, and work yarn over slip stitches in the back loop only. The 4th row will be exactly the same. Let's meet right back here when you finish the 3rd and 4th row of the first strand, and we will make the second strand. In the second strand, the cable gets braided, and that's where all the magic begins. I finished the 4th row of the first cable. Chain 1 to turn. Pay attention. I always turn the work in the same direction so that the edges are always identical. And next begins the second strand, first row. So, yarn over, insert the hook into the second chain from the hook in the back loop only, and crochet 6 yarn over slip stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next, chain 2. 1, 2. And right now, I start to braid the strand. Look at what I do here. I fold back this arch, like this. I find the stitches here under the arch that were left unworked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it's clearly visible. And into these stitches under the 2 front loops, exactly the same way we crocheted the first row of the first cable, I make 6 yarn over slip stitches. So I've done my yarn over. Here I look. I start in this stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And actually, this is already the beginning of the repeat for this row. These are the 6 yarn over slip stitches and then chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I pull the loop out a little longer so it doesn't unravel. And then look, I braid the cable. I take the yarn, pull it to the right. Here it is, the working yarn. I pull it to the right of the chain, and I pass the chain through the arch just like this, and put the loop back on the hook. Tighten it. Here I'm braiding the cable. The working yarn always goes to the right of the chain. Remember, this is the rule. Otherwise you will tie it in and won't be able to untangle it later. And I go to the next arch. I fold back the next arch again in the exact same way. I find the 6 stitches that were not used in the previous strand. Here they are, these 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yarn over. Insert the hook under the 2 front loops and I crochet 6 yarn over slip stitches. 1 into the next stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 yarn over slip stitches. This is how I pulled yarn for myself. See, it's now stretching across the fabric. This is normal. We will untangle this in the next row. And again, chain 10. And I repeat everything exactly the same way. I pull the loop out bigger so it doesn't fall off. I pass the chain through the arch. I pull the working yarn to the right. I return the loop to the hook and move on to the next arch. I work like this until the end of the row. More precisely, until the last arch. Meet at the end of the row. I will show you how to finish this row. There will be some specific details there. So here I have crocheted the last arch, and now to finish the row. Here I chain 2, 1, 2. Again, I pass this chain through the arch, put the loop back on the hook, and here along the edge of this strand, this will be the edge of the first strand. In the back loop only, I crochet 6 yarn over slip stitches. So here I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I start in this stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Chain 1 to turn and turn. Look at how I turn here. I pull the loop up a bit larger here and turn it like this because, I repeat, all turns must be done in the same direction. I like it when the turning chain stands up like this. So the first row of the second strand is ready, and now the second row of the second strand. And now we are going to untangle this yarn. I did the chain 1 to turn and turned the work. Yarn over, insert the hook into the second chain from the hook, and begin crocheting yarn over slip stitches in the back loop only. 1 yarn over slip stitch into each stitch of the previous row. And look, here I reach the arch. No, I'm still crocheting. I crochet as long as it's comfortable for me, and now it gets uncomfortable to crochet. What do? I take the loop off the hook, pass the loop through the arch, and put the loop back on the hook. Here, I pull a little bit of yarn through the fabric for myself, like this, and continue, yarn over again. I crochet only along the second strand. I don't jump between the strands. And again, 1 stitch into each stitch of the previous row. If you noticed, the working yarn was tangled up in the piece. Now it's getting untangled. If you did everything correctly, if you kept the yarn to the right when making those arches, then it will untangle easily for you. Here again, I pull out a little bit for myself because it ran out. Again, I continue to crochet 1 stitch in the back loop only. I make yarn over slip stitches. And when it becomes uncomfortable to crochet, I dive under like this and continue crocheting. The only thing is, don't forget to pull the yarn out for yourself like this, because it's tangled in the fabric, and it's not so convenient to pull it from the skein. It doesn't pull on its own without your help. Nothing will happen by itself here. I hope this point is clear. I crochet exclusively along the second strand. You can see here that the cables are already braiding. We finish crocheting to the end of the row. Leave there, and I'll show you what to do next. So I finished crocheting the second row of the second strand. Again, I chain one to turn the work. And look, here is the cable. And we have left to crochet the third and fourth row of the second strand, because the first strand consisted of 4 rows. So naturally, the second one should also consist of 4 rows. Everything here is exactly the same as what we did in the first strand. We made the chain one to turn and the third row. The only thing is that it will be, well, tangled up, right? It will interlace with the other row, but otherwise everything is exactly the same here. I crochet 1 yarn over slip stitch into each stitch of the third row, previous row. Exactly the same way I dive under, pop up, take the loop off the hook, pass it through the arch. It's easier than the first row. I don't forget that the yarn must stay to the right of me, otherwise everything will get tangled, and I crochet in this way. In the third row, I tangle the yarn up again, but I don't make any arches here. I think this point is clear. And in the fourth row, I untangle this yarn. And we will meet after the fourth row of the second strand. I will show you how to make the finishing row of this cable. So I've crocheted the fourth row of the second strand. Look, here is the cable, twisting and curling. And next is the finishing row of the cable. I make, as always, a chain one to turn the work. Yarn over, insert the hook into the second chain from the hook, and crochet yarn over slip stitches. I crochet 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now I need to transition to the next strand, right? What do I do here? Along the bottom of this strand, I count off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I insert the hook into the 9th stitch in the back loop only, yes. In exactly the same way, I make a yarn over slip stitch. 1, into the next stitch, 2, into the next stitch, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so it turns out, look, the strands of our cable have connected. And I need to move to the next strand again. What to do here again? Of course, you could eyeball it, right? I don't like eyeballing it. Mathematical precision is needed everywhere. I open up this arch like this. And here I need to count off 10 stitches, because if you remember, there were 10 chains in the arch. Therefore, I count 10 here. 10. Here it is, the 11th. And into it, I begin to make these 6 yarn over slip stitches in the back loop only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And here again, a twist has connected with the other strands. And I work like this until the end of the row. I need to move to another twist again. Again, I open the arch like this. Here I count. Here it is, the 11th. And into it, I begin to make these 6 yarn over slip stitches in the back loop only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I hope this point is clear. I work like this until the end of the row. So I have the very last twist left here. To double check myself, look, I count off 10 stitches again. And here there should be exactly 6 stitches left. If everything aligns, then everything is correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Everything aligned for me. Everything is correct for me. Next, if you count the stitches of this row, there should be, I have 54. There should be the number you initially chained. If it matches, then you did everything right. You didn't make a mistake anywhere. You didn't get tangled anywhere. You untangled everything. You are just clever and well done. Next, I chain 1 to turn again and crochet another row of regular yarn over slip stitches in the back loop only. And if I want to, I will start another next cable. And so the cable is ready. The swatch is ready. Look at how texturally it stands out on the fabric when I crocheted the first row of the cable under the 2 front loops. This is the right side. And look at the wrong side. Everything is beautiful here too. Very decent too. That is, such a pattern is perfectly suited for reversible items, where reversibility is needed, like for a scarf. A feature of this cable is that it has holes. In each of these arches, there is a hole. If you want to use it, let's say, for beanies, then I suggest just sewing them up. Taking a needle and thread and on the final piece, simply sewing these holes shut. For a scarf, for a snood, or even for a sweater, you can weave it with holes like this. The cable, my previous swatch, yes. Here I crocheted all stitches, and the first row too, in the back loop only, not under the 2 front loops. It's also reversible, but you see, it seems to me it doesn't stand out as texturally from the rest of the fabric. Although everything is also very beautiful, very neat, very decent. And you can also use this variation, when the cable doesn't separate from the rest of the fabric. Let me show you like this. Yes, here you see it separates, but here it doesn't, when it's sort of part of the rest of the fabric. Also, my dear lovers of crochet cables, I have a video for you where I braid such a cable. Here, I'm braiding it from 2 strands, and there I braid it from 3 strands. This video came out quite a while ago on my Russian language channel, and unfortunately the YouTube algorithms completely ignore it. Although in my opinion, it is interesting. It shows unique things that on YouTube that absolutely no one anywhere has shown. No one anywhere has shown you, neither in paid nor in free materials. How to make a cable like this out of 3 strands continuously, seamlessly, as a single piece of fabric that can be unraveled, can be crocheted, can be recrocheted. Therefore, please, if you like such videos, then welcome to that video too. Leave a like on it, write some kind of comment. There is an English audio track there too, and in my opinion, everything is very clear there. Thank you in advance for your likes, for watching my videos, for supporting my channel. Thank you for your attention. Write down where you are going to use this swatch, this pattern, and see you next time in my future videos. Bye bye!